It's not funny because it made me realize that this is big boy
serious
shit. Okay, I went around Freddie. I went somewhere.
I'm back.
Stay sharp. Stay sharp. Stay sharp.
Nobody in the boxing world was ready for what Mike Tyson unleashed on Instagram Live, and honestly, the internet still hasn't fully recovered. In a jaw-dropping, unfiltered session that caught fans completely off guard, Iron Mike turned the heat all the way up on Floyd Mayweather, making it crystal clear that this rivalry has moved far beyond the realm of friendly competition. According to sources who were tuned in during the live stream, Mike went straight for the jugular, declaring that he carries more authentic boxing ability in a single hand than Floyd demonstrated across his entire 50-fight professional career. This was not the kind of lighthearted jab that fighters throw for cameras and promotions. People who witnessed the stream described the energy as raw, visceral, and deeply personal. The Instagram live session reportedly kicked off around 9 p.m. Pacific time, with Mike sitting down to answer fan questions ahead of their upcoming May showdown in Congo. The chat was electric from the jump, with thousands of followers flooding the comments with questions about his training regimen, diet, and predictions for the fight. By all accounts, Mike was relaxed and engaged right up until the moment everything changed.
What's up? What's up, kid? People looking at me right now?
Yeah, people can see you.
Really?
You just say hi to the people.
Tyson Rad, what's going on? It's going on over here, man.
Everything shifted the second someone in the comments section dropped a note about Floyd. According to viewers who were watching in real time, a fan pointed out that Floyd Mayweather had just posted on his Instagram story, once again floating the narrative that he is the most technically skilled boxer in the history of the sport. That was all it took. Witnesses say Mike's entire demeanor transformed on screen, his jaw tightened, his posture changed, and he leaned directly into the camera with an intensity that nobody in the chat was prepared for. Sources close to the situation say Mike's response was something to the effect of, "Floyd thinks he's skilled? That boy spent his whole career running and had the nerve to call it boxing." The comments section instantly erupted.
Twice over there. Twice to the body over there. You know me. I'm going twice over there.
The reaction from the live audience was nothing short of explosive. Fire emojis flooded the screen by the thousands as viewers urged Mike to keep going, and according to reports from those watching, he did exactly that without missing a beat. Rather than stopping at a one-liner, Mike reportedly dove deep into a full breakdown, laying out, in painstaking detail, what he believes real boxing skill actually looks like and how Floyd's celebrated point fighting system fails to meet that standard. It was the kind of passionate, unscripted commentary that fans had been craving, and the numbers on the stream began climbing fast. Mike made it clear that for him, genuine boxing skill is measured by a fighter's ability to impose their will inside the ring, not simply avoid punishment. He reportedly talked at length about the art of cutting off the ring, the devastating impact of well-timed body shots, the kind of combination punching that cracks ribs and breaks spirits, and the rare, God-given knockout power that ends a fight with a single movement. According to those watching, Mike argued that Floyd never bothered developing any of those weapons because his entire identity as a fighter was constructed around one singular goal: don't get hit. And when things got too close for comfort, hug. For Mike, that philosophy doesn't represent mastery, it represents avoidance.
Trust me. Find the angle outside.
The intensity pouring through Mike's screen in those moments was something viewers hadn't seen from him in years, a full flashback to the version of Mike Tyson who used to reduce grown men to nervous wrecks at press conferences during his prime. Sources say he called Floyd out by name without hesitation, reportedly delivering a line that went something like, "Floyd, you listening? You never hurt anybody. You never made anybody quit. You just survived and cashed your checks. And then, according to witnesses, Mike took it one step further with language that was anything but PG, dropping an explicit word that sent the comment section into complete frenzy. The viewership numbers tell the whole story. What began with roughly 8,000 people watching mushroomed to over 40,000 within minutes as word tore across social media platforms that Mike Tyson was publicly dismantling Floyd Mayweather's legacy in real time. From there, Mike pivoted to something that has long been a point of contention among hardcore boxing fans: Floyd's carefully curated opponent selection. According to those watching, Mike made the pointed observation that Floyd had a habit of waiting until the most dangerous fighters on the planet were either past their prime or coming off significant losses before agreeing to share a ring with them. He brought up the Manny Pacquiao situation directly, arguing that Floyd avoided that matchup for 6 long years, not out of strategy, but out of fear, and only agreed to the fight once both men were well past their most dangerous years. Sources say Mike framed it plainly, with something along the lines of, real skill means stepping in the ring with a killer when he's hungry, not when he's already been fed. Fans in the comments were frantically tagging Floyd's account, hoping to bait him into responding live. Then, unexpectedly, Andre Ward appeared in the comment section and attempted to push back, reportedly defending the quality of Floyd's resume and the caliber.
Not just coming back for an exhibition. We've seen Floyd going on the exhibition tours, which a lot of former all-time great fighters have done. The Ray Robinsons did it, the Alis did it, Joe Louis did it. It's not out of the question for a fighter to do that. Sometimes you don't want to have to prepare for a mega
Mike wasted no time. According to sources, he read Ward's comment directly off the screen and dismissed it on the spot, telling Ward that there's a significant difference between fighting good fighters and fighting genuinely dangerous ones at the peak of their powers, and that Ward was confusing the two. Mike reportedly made the point that being technically clean inside the ropes doesn't make you the most skilled fighter in history, it simply makes you the most careful one. That line alone set off another wave of reactions across social media. Meanwhile, Timothy Bradley's response was already trending before Mike had even signed off. People close to Bradley say he immediately jumped on Twitter to defend Floyd's honor, making the case that Mayweather's defensive brilliance is simply unmatched by anyone who has ever laced up a pair of gloves in the professional ranks.
There's always gonna be, when you're at the top, there's always gonna be a lot of hatred and a lot of jealousy and envy. So Mayweather's gonna have to deal.
Bradley's defense didn't land the way he probably intended. Fans across social platforms were firing back with specific clips pulled directly from Mike's livestream, especially the sections where he broke down his core argument that a fighter who has no ability to damage his opponent is only operating at half capacity. Defense without offense, Mike suggested, is an incomplete fighter. Insiders say the tension between Bradley and Mike isn't anything new, rooted in years of disagreements over greatest of all-time conversations, but this public episode brought all of that simmering conflict right back to the boiling point. While all of this was unfolding, Teddy Atlas reportedly called into a radio program in real time, with the live stream apparently still running in the background. Sources say Atlas was asked to weigh in on everything Mike had said, and he gave a measured and detailed response, agreeing with portions of Mike's argument while pushing back on others. Atlas acknowledged that Mike has a legitimate point about offensive skills being chronically undervalued in today's boxing world. At the same time, he insisted that Floyd's mastery of defense is a genuine elite-level skill that shouldn't be minimized just because it isn't flashy.
Tyson's talent was so great. His physical ability, his talent was so overwhelming, just like somebody's intellect, just somebody's charisma, whatever, beauty, until it came to something else. But his talent was so superior that the other stuff never got tested. He was blowing guys out, and it never got tested if there was anything.
According to people who caught the radio segment live, Atlas framed the core debate with a question that cut right to the heart of the argument: should a fighter's skills be judged by the damage they can inflict on an opponent, or by the damage they successfully prevent from happening to themselves? It's a question without a clean answer, and that's exactly what makes this conversation so compelling. Roughly 20 minutes after Mike's livestream concluded, Sean Porter entered the chat with an Instagram story of his own. Insiders say Porter posted a video response in which he went to bat for Floyd, breaking down the elements of Floyd's game that he believes get overlooked in conversations like this, specifically his footwork, his elite ring IQ, and his ability to read situations and make real-time adjustments mid-fight with surgical precision. But in what felt like a surprisingly balanced take, Porter also acknowledged something significant, that Mike Tyson's brand of pressure, power, and violence represents an entirely different category of skill, one that Floyd never needed to develop because nobody was ever in a position to force him to.
On that, he makes the right moves, he does the right things, he stays so comfortable and so confident in who he is and what he does as a fighter. And you gotta break that. And I thought I was gonna break it, but I did not do what was necessary to break it.
Porter reportedly landed on the conclusion that these two men are simply elite in completely different ways, that comparing them is almost like comparing two different sports. But his comments section had other opinions. According to reports, the replies were overwhelmingly stacked with fans arguing that when it comes to pure fighting ability in its most primal sense, Mike Tyson would take Floyd apart. The debate raged on well after Porter's video disappeared. And then Stephen A. Smith showed up. Because of course he did. According to witnesses, Stephen A. posted a video reaction that was about as energetic as you'd expect, declaring that what Mike Tyson just did was quite possibly the single greatest promotional moment the upcoming fight could have asked for. He made the point that by making the conflict personal and going directly at Floyd's legacy, the one thing Floyd holds more sacred than anything else, Mike had single-handedly transformed their Congo matchup into must-see television.
Mike Tyson was going to try to come at him, and he was just going to catch him and knock him out.
Stephen A. didn't stop there. Sources say he went on to predict, with full confidence, that Floyd Mayweather would fire back within 24 hours, because a man who has spent his entire life carefully building and protecting his legacy simply does not sit quietly when it gets attacked this publicly. People with knowledge of the situation at ESPN suggest the network was already mapping out dedicated programming centered around the feud, planning to make it a focal point of their boxing coverage in the coming week. Max Kellerman, meanwhile, was reportedly reaching out to boxing insiders via text, trying to get a read on whether what happened during the livestream was genuine anger or simply high-level fight promotion done in an unusually convincing way. Sources say Kellerman genuinely wanted to know if there's real bad blood between these two men or if the whole thing is a carefully coordinated play for pay-per-view numbers. The insiders he contacted reportedly told him the same thing, that the passion in Mike's voice felt authentic, and that the skills debate is something Mike has strong personal convictions about that go far beyond any promotional script.
Bernard wasn't the type of puncher to hit you and it sounded like a bass drum. Oscar made that noise because when you hit someone in an organ, like the kidneys or the liver, and the executioner knew exactly where to place the shot. But when you listen to like Mike Tyson hit it, if you listen to certain dudes today who are big punchers hit a dude with a big shot and you hear it sounds like a bass drum's being hit, especially the body shots. That's when you're like, oh man, how does this dude stand?
Reports indicate that Kellerman is now preparing a full televised segment that will go point by point through Mike's claims, putting them through the analytical lens of whether Mike's offensive destruction truly stands above Floyd's defensive genius when you strip away the emotion and look purely at craft. It's going to be a good segment. The betting markets told their own story in the aftermath of the live stream. According to insiders with knowledge of the odds movement, Mike had entered the fight as a meaningful underdog, the general assumption being that age and ring rust would be significant factors. But after the world watched him come alive on Instagram, sharp, passionate, and clearly motivated, the lines began to tighten. Bookmakers reportedly tracked a surge of action on Mike winning by knockout in the early rounds, suggesting the public's perception of this fight shifted meaningfully in a single evening. People connected to Las Vegas sportsbooks say what once felt like a fun exhibition with a predetermined safe outcome now feels like a legitimate collision with real animosity fueling it.
But people think it's just armor, and you're good, and you're a big guy. What do you feel?